Hi, lots of times when cheating comes out, there were signs, and when you realize what the signs are, you can feel really dumb, you can blame yourself, you can hate yourself. But the reality is, some cheating is so covert and it's really glossed over with the title of coworker or with friend. And so you kind of feel like you don't have any rights to say anything, but when it all comes out, you're like, wow, was I dumb? But really, no, you were not dumb. You were probably tricked. So I'm going to help you find some red flags and to know what to do about them and how to kind of set those lines so that you can help protect your relationship. Hi, my name is Olivia, and I'm passionate about helping you understand what relational trauma is so that you can deal with it, overcome it, and move on with your life. So today, everything is coming from the relationship trust boundary model. And it's very common, I think, for lots of people to figure out that the person they've been hearing about over and over and over actually is more than a friend, is actually more than a coworker, and by the time you get to the place where it's all finally coming out, you can feel so very dumb. But it's not your fault because you were convinced that something was wrong with you or that you were overstepping boundaries by trying to implement boundaries to protect your relationship. So let's take a look at the relationship trust boundary model, because a lot of times it's very difficult to define what exactly is an emotional affair and what do you do if there is an emotional affair? Is that the same as cheating? Is that not the same as cheating? Why does it hurt? Why does it feel so bad? So in the relationship trust boundary model, which by the way, I will put a QR code on the screen. I'll also leave a link in the description. Sorry, I keep shaking my table, to the book. So with the model, if you take a look at it, you have self right here and partner here. So we always emote out. No one gets closer to us than partner. So this means no one gets more of what's in your head and no one gets more of what's in your heart than your partner does. So this is going to help protect and secure your relationship and make it even stronger. The same goes with physical. No one gets more of you physically than your partner. This safeguards your relationship and it keeps the two of you closest to each other. And that's very good, very great when you have a healthy partner and you're being as healthy as you can as well for your partner. So the problem is we spend so much time with coworkers, or we have such a long-standing history with a friend or a friendship. So what can happen is, although a coworker is supposed to be out here and they can gain trust and get to friendship, no one's supposed to go here but partner. But over time, as trust is developed and trust is earned, what can happen is we find we start sharing just as much with the coworker or with a friend than we would our partner. So what we have now done is we've put that partner or coworker in the partner rung, and now they're getting just as much of what's in our head and our heart as our partner is. And that is what an emotional affair is. If you physically allow a friend to go there or a coworker to go there, then that's what a physical relationship would look like, or an affair would look like, which is what most of us think of when we think of someone having an affair. We just think of the physical part because that's, pretty unmistakable, although you'd be surprised that someone can even confuse you on what a physical affair is when it's pretty clear it's touching in the same way partner does and they're not your partner. So it's really not how far over the line you go, it's did you cross that line? You crossed it, that's an affair. So looking back at the model, when I don't protect and hold boundaries here, which means I'm not going to share with you like I am my partner because you're not my partner. We can go to the level of coworker, we can go to the level of friend, but never go to the level of partner because that space alone is reserved for my partner. So if you're someone who had a partner let a coworker go in that rung emotionally or physically, it feels so awful. And you can feel that distance. You can feel that you don't hold that special space in that person's life. You can tell that, to some degree, they're sharing it with someone else and it feels terrible. So when all of your senses are coming up and your gut is telling you something's wrong and you keep trying to ask about this other person or ask about, the time they're spending with this person or why they're texting when work is clearly over or they keep going to lunch together, or you found out that that person knows a secret about your partner that you didn't know. All of that is pointing to the fact that they are letting someone there that is not you. So it can be hard to confront that or know what to say about that, but you can just pull up the relationship trust boundary model and you can say, if you're sharing with that person as much as you share with me, what's in your head, what's in your heart, or maybe even more, you guys have like your own secret stuff together that I'm not a part of. That means you're not protecting our relationship and you've let someone go there, and that's an emotional affair, and I'm not okay with that. So if someone's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Quit my job? Am I supposed to, we go to sometimes crisis and extreme things. It's no, but I would appreciate if you shared with them where sharing was appropriate. And then this is reserved for us. And it may mean get a new job, because it's very hard to hold those boundaries and not allow someone to slide back in. But it's not impossible, but both people would have to want to do that. So I think the bigger thing is for you to understand that you are not crazy, that you're not imagining things. If someone is letting someone else go in the rung that's reserved for you, it's not okay. And eventually the relationship is going to end. So at least it's being aware of, okay, I don't need you to, sign off on the fact that this is not okay. I know for me, this is not okay. I know for me, this is not what I want in my relationship. But what I would like to do is talk to you about it and see if we can find a way to tighten it up so that we can both feel good about the relationship in the space that we're sharing. If you're someone who's like, oh, I totally let a coworker go there, I let my friend go there, then you would just have to set boundaries with yourself and pop them way back up here and only share at this level. So if you're thinking, or just think, if I can't differentiate how I'm sharing most with my partner than anyone else, then somewhere I'm not sharing correctly. I got to share less with the people who are not my partners. I don't want to share so much of what's in my head, so much of what's in my heart, more so than with my partner, because that's supposed to be my closest, most endearing relationship. If you want a solid, strong, healthy, happy relationship, if you don't care about that relationship, then that's a bummer for your partner, and you would probably want to let them know that. And then, of course, you're going to have to deal with whatever comes with that. But to continue to say, no one's there but you, I'm not doing anything with anyone else but you, when clearly there is an issue, that's not okay. So hopefully that helps you to understand if this person is spending a lot of time, especially outside of work, like on lunch times or meeting up for coffee on the weekends, or they're buying special gifts for that person. They're doing things for that person that they used to do for you, or they're supposed to be with you. That means they're letting someone in that rung, and that is not okay. And that's what you talk about and address. So it's not about the other person, the third party. It's about you and your partner and how you want to get it back to just you and them in that rung. So the emotional affair would be when they're giving so much of what's in their head and their heart just as much with someone else as they do with you. And the thing is, you could put a parent in there. You could put like a child or an adult child in there emotionally. You could put, anyone in there. And the thing is, if you allow anyone to go in that space but your partner, you're going to weaken your foundation, and eventually it's going to separate and crumble. So just to be mindful, if you feel that your partner has let someone else in there, then this is a way that you can talk about it, when you feel ready, and always seek help. If you feel like it's not safe, then you need to get safe first. So you can do the hotline.org, which is always in the link in my description. That's a great resource that is available to you. You could talk to a counselor 24/7 for free about domestic violence related issues. And also they can help you to establish a plan. But if you do feel safe, you could also go through a therapist, and a therapist can help you facilitate that conversation. Or if you're feeling safe to do it on your own, then it would just be, okay, I finally figured out what I'm feeling. And part of that is that you've allowed someone else in this space. I want to go back to the time when it just used to be you and I. Can we get there? Are you interested in that? And you know what? If someone is not interested in that with you, then that's information that you're going to have to address and look at to be able to move forward in your life. So again, you can find all of this and more in the Relationship Trust Boundary Model. There is a full course, and the book is always linked in the description. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next one.